You're welcome to another episode of Chronicles of a Nigerian Woman. I am your host, Fagbeja, and today I'll be reading Lydia's story. They say extraordinary circumstances call for extraordinary measures. This is true in my case. I did something very few women will do. Was it wrong or right? I don't know. But it was my reality, and I took the decision that I saw fit. Read my story, then you can judge for yourself. I grew up in the village. I went to school, and after I finished Standard 6, I went to teacher training college and became a teacher in a town not too far from where I grew up. It was on that job that I met George, who also taught in the same school. I was about 23 and he was 8 years older than I was, but he was a decent man and extremely likable and kind. We courted for about a year before we got married. We planned to start having children immediately, but 18 months into our marriage, I hadn't got pregnant. George was not bothered about it. He kept on encouraging me to be patient. As far as he was concerned, our relationship was more important than children, and he always assured me that he married me because he loved me and that children were only the icing on the cake. He was such a rare kind of man, and I wasn't in doubt of his love. But I could not bear the thought of not having children, not just for myself, but also because of what people would say. His family, especially his mother and 2 sisters, made snide remarks often, but he always handled them, and because of that, we kept our distance from his family. About 5 years into our marriage, we still had no children, and his mother was starting to put a lot of pressure on him to take a second wife. He tried to shield me from it, but I knew what was going on. I had attended all kinds of prayer meetings and services and followed all kinds of advice to no avail. In those days, the knowledge about fertility and conception was not as prevalent as it is now. And as far as we were all concerned, any issues with conception were blamed on the woman. So I took responsibility for the situation. The only thing I did not do was to go visiting traditional medicine men who use charms and incantations. When my in-laws started to pressurize George into taking another wife, I decided to take matters into my own hands. There was a lady in our village who was like a younger sister to me. We lived in the same neighborhood and I watched her grow up. She was well raised and extremely respectful. I approached her and made a proposal. I invited her to become George's second wife and bear children for him. I promised to take care of her and ensure that she had a comfortable and happy life. When I first presented the idea to her, she looked at me incredulously and rejected it. But she respected me so much, and I was determined to make her accept my proposal. So I kept on talking to her until she agreed to think about it and discuss it with her parents. My next move was to convince George about it. The day I told him I wanted him to take a second wife, he got so angry. I had never seen him so visibly angry throughout our marriage. He did not speak to me for a whole day. I knew it would not be easy to convince him, but I had not anticipated his reaction to be that strong. However, I had my arsenal, so I was prepared. The truth is, I had thought things through, and I knew that the pressure was only going to increase for him to marry another woman. If he refused, I would bear the blame for not allowing him to remarry, and would even possibly be labeled a witch for not wanting the only son in their family to have a child to carry on the family name. I decided that it was better for the second wife to be someone I could live with rather than someone chosen by those who hated me, who would most likely create problems for me. When I explained to George, he started to see reasons with me, and I eventually convinced him to see my point of view. He also knew Martha, the lady I had spoken to. She had come to spend time at our house a few times, and he had always loved her like a daughter because of her respectful and helpful behavior. That was how Martha became a part of our family. Even though it was an odd decision, I think it was the best decision I could have taken. Within a year, she had a baby boy and 2 girls over the next 3 years. My joy knew no bounds. I took care of those children as though they were mine, and we were one happy family. My love for Martha grew even more because I realized that she was a better person than I could have imagined. To be honest, I had my fears, but I decided to take my chances. George's family tried to turn Martha against me by praising her and showering her with attention, but she always deflected it wisely and reiterated how everything was the product of my largesse and kindness in bringing her in and treating her well. I was the de facto mother of the family, and she deferred to me in everything, even in the care of the children. We all pooled our resources together to give them the best life we could afford. I couldn't have asked for more. George thanked me and praised my wisdom every day until he passed away 5 years ago. I am 66 now, and I never had any children of my own. Martha and I still live together, even though the children are all married now. We share grandmother duties when they need us. I know that not everyone will understand my decision, and I also know how it could have gone wrong, but I am grateful that it all ended well. What do you think of the love triangle between George, Lydia, and Martha? Please share in the comment section. Remember to hit that subscribe button and to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos.